Hello, Aries. Welcome. Thank you for being here. This is going to be a general reading, so of course everything may not resonate. Take what does and leave the rest. And for more tarot readings after this, please check out my wife's channel, Fvck. Tarot she's review as well. Thank you. All right, so let's see what's going on. Huh. Okay. Interesting. All right, Aries. A couple more and I'll jump into this. Hey, and there you are. All right. What is going on? Okay, so jumping into this, Aries, what you are showing me. By the way, the first message that does come through is the pursuit of happiness. Makes me think of that song. I forget who it's by. Kind of sounds like I'm on the pursuit of happiness, and I know everything is shiny, always going to be gold. It's a nice energy. It really is a nice energy. You show me just happiness and fulfillment, while you also seem to be confronted with some difficulties. Now, whatever these difficulties are, I do see you're wanting to just kind of, I'm not going to say meet life head on, but you are just kind of wanting to energetically plow through. I don't know what's going on. There are some sort of emotional difficulties, though. Whatever this, like these feelings are, you clearly don't want the fun to stop. You don't want the good times to end. You kind of want to, stay on cloud nine in a sense. But you also are emphasizing quite heavily that does take effort. And I mean a hell of a lot of effort, Aries. Even though it is your right to be happy, to be fulfilled, to get what you want in life, to live the life exactly the way you want it. How much of yourself, and I kind of have to ask you this question, how much of yourself are you willing to risk or give or sacrifice? Is it a situation where you're kind of like, I've given my blood, sweat, and tears into making sure that I'm living the good life? Unfortunately, possibly at your own expense, where it's like, fuck, I've spent, I don't know, for example, it's like someone who's like, I just went and bought a $3 million Bugatti. Now I'm fucking broke, but I'm driving a Bugatti. All for the sake and pursuit of happiness. Um, I don't know what this is, Aries. You're kind of showing me you drive with a bit of a heavy foot. And what I mean by that is like heavy on the gas. Heavy on the gas pedal. Heavy on the throttle, that is for sure. It shows up a little bit of life in the fast lane, kind of living life on the edge a little bit. But you're also kind of saying that's that's what it's all about for you. It's kind of in your wheelhouse. That's where you feel pretty good. So it's like, well, you're gonna ride cloud nine as long as you can for as long as you can. You're like, you know what? Sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes you kind of to pursue these experiences, keep those close and dear to your chest. It is what it is. Now, that being said, I don't know specifically what is going on with your own energy showing up over here. You do understand it's kind of like, work hard, play hard. But what about the in betweens? That's what I want to know. What about the in betweens, Aries? What about when you're not working and when you're not playing? What then? That moment of stillness. What happens in those moments of stillness when you ain't got nothing going on, when you're kind of just left with your thoughts and your emotions? Like I said, you don't want the party to ever end. And that's why I'm looking at a heavy foot. But what happens when that foot ain't got no gas pedal to step on, or the wrist has no throttle to fucking mash on? What then? That is fire. That is fire. That is a wildfire, Aries. You're trying to tame a wildfire within you. That oh my goodness, I'll give you that. You're burning hot. Um, but you kind of we'll give you that as well. You are aware of things that could be problematic. You are well aware of things that could be problematic. You're like, I'm gonna make some adjustments, I'll say. There's a tower. Goodness gracious, Aries. Goodness gracious. Adjustments. Tinkering. Um, where'd you go just now? Where'd you just go? Where'd you go? Isn't that a song by Fort Minor? Where'd you go? The lyrics are, I miss you so, seems like it's been forever. So please come back home. I like it. I like it, Aries. That's a nice energy. I'm looking at the Four of Wands. There's the energy of home. Like I said, to come back home. Unfortunately, I'm looking at that Four of Wands. I don't know what that's called, a layover or a foldover or a whatever you want to refer to it as. That Four of Wands and that tower side by side. Um, that drive, that need for speed. That Need for Speed. Good movie, by the way. That Need for Speed. Um, yeah. There's some things about yourself you are realizing. I do like this, Aries. You're also stepping into that light. There's that sun. Very nice energy. Touche. Nice energy. Seriously. Um, it's not all, I'll give you the kind of this now. It's not all going to make sense, but it will. It will give it some time. It will make sense. There's a yearning within you, Aries. Um, Even though you show me that you hold these memories and these experiences very dear, close, like I said, close to your chest, close to your heart. That's the thing. What else is going on there? What else is going on there? Because there's an energy there where you're never wanting your, let's just say you're never wanting your fuel meter to go on E. You have to kind of keep fueling that up, kind of like when they say, the Ace of Cups. You kind of have to fulfill or fill your own cup. That's what you're doing, but you're kind of doing it. You're running off the fumes of your emotions and these feelings and these sensations and what you're doing and how you're kind of doing it. That's your meter. That's kind of like, home is where the heart is. But when you're pursuing these emotions and these feelings, it's almost kind of like you're constantly yearning for that feeling or that comfort or that security of home, someplace you belong. And I feel like what's going on here, Aries, is you're coming back home to yourself. You're coming back home to yourself. There's something there within you, a little bit hidden, a little bit dark, a little bit shadowy, that you are realizing. But that's a nice energy. That's a nice energy. That's like I said, that's coming back home to oneself. And you know what? What does one do when they spend three? What does one do after they spend $3 million on a Bugatti and realizes that feeling is bunk? When they realize money don't buy shit. What does one do? They start looking at life a little bit differently as to what money can't buy. Like, you know what? I bought a $3 million car. It's no different than a fucking Honda. Yeah. Gets me from point A to point B. Who gives a shit? I got $3 other million I can stretch out and live the rest of my life on. Different perspectives, different pursuits. What is that saying or that song? You don't always get what you want, but sometimes you find you get what you need. Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. From point A to point B, and then once you reach your destination, your whole life can change because you don't know what's next. You never know what that next destination is. Huh. I like it. I like it. That is some sort of discovery within you, Aries. I like it. That is a discovery within you that changes your perspective towards you. And ain't no one gonna know you better than you know you. And that's something you're kind of standing by is fucking damn right. Bye.